There are only 40 days till the start of the 2026 MLB season, and injuries are completely wrecking the fantasy first round and a few others as well. It's really hit a couple players hard. Two players that were projected to be taken in the first round are currently out for about 6 weeks. They both, Corbin Carroll and Francisco Lindor, both are having surgery on their hamate bone, as well as Jackson Holliday. So, three great young players are going to be out for some time here. I'm going to take a closer look at where they're going in recent fantasy drafts and kind of figure out where they should be going as of right now. I know, so Carroll, Lindor, and Holliday basically all have the same problem. They all had surgery on their hamate bone in one of their hands, and then a couple other pitchers are also out as well. And then down here, Westberg and Santander. I believe Santander is out for about 6 months. Westberg is like week to week with an oblique injury. But I'm going to hop over here to NFC and take a closer look at some of the top players here. So first, I want to look at Francisco Lindor. I narrowed down the search history to the last week of drafts, and there's only been six drafts on the NFC. It's like higher stakes type drafting, and Francisco Lindor has went as high as 16 and as low as 30. So there's a huge discrepancy between where he's going, with an average pick of 23. And coming into the regular season, or coming into the preseason, he basically was a late first round pick. So like 12 to 15, depending on how big your league is. That's basically the first round. And if I go over here to Fantasy Pros, they haven't really updated most of their ADPs here. We can see Lindor was around 16. Obviously, that's going to keep coming down as the drafts go on, but I do expect him to miss some time. He is going to miss pretty much all of spring training, which is going to be tough. Let's see if I can find exactly. I did see that the manager said he would be back for opening day, but I looked into a couple players that have had this problem in the past, and first off, missing spring training is never good. And then kind of having to ramp back up is tough as well, just because they haven't been swinging, haven't been taking live at-bats, and really haven't faced major league pitching the whole spring training. So Lindor's sitting around 23. That's like the middle to end of the second round. And I think that's probably a pretty fair value. If I can, I would be taking him, I guess, at the 2-3 turn, because I just don't know if he's going to be back. First off, I don't think he's going to be back opening day. I don't think Lindor, Carroll, or Jackson Holliday, they already said Jackson Holliday is not going to be back for opening day. Obviously, he's a much later pick, so a little bit lower risk with that pick. But for Lindor and Carroll, their top picks, I really would not be taking Lindor probably till the early third round. So I guess in a 12-team league, anywhere from like 22 to 30, I would assume. Like 16 is way too early. 30 is probably a great value for Lindor, especially if he comes back in a shorter amount of time than we think. I think 30 would be a great pick, but anywhere from like 22 to 25, I think is a solid pick. Anything later than that, I would say it's probably a value. He has been a top fantasy contributor for the past few years, so I would be okay with that. And then moving on over to Corbin Carroll. So these are the last 6 drafts this week. He was taken at 5 in one of these drafts, probably before the news that he was going to be out. But he was then taken as late as 19. And with an average pick of 12, so that'd be your last pick in a 12-team league, but probably he's going to slide to the second round. I think Corbin Carroll will outproduce Francisco Lindor if they are on similar timetables. And if we look over here, Carroll was being drafted as the 6th pick in most fantasy formats. So I expect Carroll to be the better value. If you can get him in the late second round or middle of the second round, I'm assuming it's probably going to be a fine pick, but I really would rather someone else make that decision over myself, because there's players that are going to be taken in the middle of the second round, like Fernando Tatis or Kyle Tucker, who are injury-free as of now and have definitely proven in the past that they can produce. And with the Corbin Carroll injury, I'm just not confident that he'll be back at 100% until could be a month or 2 months into the season. You just never know with something like that. And then Jackson Holliday also has the same problem. Let's see where he's been going. So big range, only 6 drafts that are in the past week in the NFC, but Jackson Holliday was taken as high as 129 and then as low as 211. So I guess he'd be taken past like Ozzie Albies for sure, Bryson Stott. I'm probably taking Ozzie Albies over Jackson Holliday. He seems to be healthy coming into a healthy year, and he hasn't been healthy these past 2 years, Ozzie Albies. I think with a full healthy season, he should get back to somewhere close to what his numbers were, I think, in 2023. Let's look at how far Holliday has fallen. So Holliday over here on Fantasy Pros, it averages out NFBC, CBS, Yahoo, etc. The average is 131, and he's definitely dropped. So that average is 131. He's dropped about 30 picks on average, and that's probably fine. I'm probably taking Albies over Holliday, but I'd probably go Holliday over Bryson Stott. I just think when he does return, there's going to be a lot more upside for Holliday than there is Bryson Stott. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if. Yeah, I would still take him in the top 10 of second basemen. So I'm sure that's probably an okay value. The Orioles did already announce that he's definitely not going to be back he's not going to be ready for opening day. So that's a little concerning. If they're saying he's not going to be back, I would expect Lindor and Carroll not to be back or be back right at the start, but probably not 100%. And then, all right, bunch of pitchers. Schwellenbach, I believe, is out for a while. He's got arm trouble. Let's see if I can find. So, Hader dealing with bicep inflammation, set to resume throwing, but uncertain. That just sounds horrible. That just sounds like it could be disaster. Okay, Reese Olson's out for the season, so he's not even going to be drafted. Let's go to relief pitcher, or I guess pitcher in general here. I don't even know when he will be taken. Okay, Hader's down here at 38 off the board, but a huge range of picks. So as early as 68, as late as 132 on Josh Hader. And for a closer, I know in NFBC they elevate closers. In a standard league, I probably would not touch Josh Hader until it gets to 150 maybe in ADP. Just pitcher already coming into the season with arm problems is never good. And then Schwellenbach was kind of early. Yeah, Shane Bieber won't be ready to start the season. Santander is going to miss a significant amount of time, 5 to 6 months. That's That's honestly most of the season. So he will be taken at the end of the draft, if at all. Where is Schwellenbach? Schwellenbach placed on the 60-day IL. Let's see. Let's see where he was taken. If we go to starting pitchers here on Fantasy Pros, this has not been updated really. So he was around 85, 88 on most sites. Schwellenbach. Let's see where he has fallen to. Wonder if I can filter out. Okay, here he is. So pitcher one, he's 150 off the board. So pretty much not even taken. ADP of. So pretty much only taken in deep 15-team leagues. And there's probably just no timetable on Schwellenbach, so it's probably cautious of everybody to stay away from Spencer Schwellenbach. But ones that really significantly matter are not Altuve, Carroll and Lindor. I'd be comfortable taking Carroll middle of the second round, depending on the league size, around pick, I don't know, pick 15 to 18 sounds about right for Corbin Carroll. And then Lindor about the 2-3 turn, preferably in the third round for Francisco Lindor. But definitely things have been shaken up with those two injuries. And there's still the World Baseball Classic to go. Hopefully there's no significant injuries in the World Baseball Classic. But Corbin Carroll and Lindor have definitely shaken up the fantasy landscape over the past couple weeks. And we'll have to keep monitoring, have to see when those guys will actually be ready, and keep checking socials to see if there's any updates on them. But that's where I'd be drafting Carroll, Lindor, and Holiday as of right now at the start of spring training. We'll be back tomorrow with first base rankings. It's a pretty nice position, pretty deep, really top heavy with elite bats. So I'm pretty excited to go through my top 20 at first base, and I will catch you all tomorrow.